Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I am Reverend Frances Faden, and I am so grateful to get to spend this time helping you to magnify your miracles. We have such a special guest with us today. I'm so excited. But before we get into all the good stuff, let's just take a few deep breaths together. Breathing in the energy of expansion, breathing out anything we no longer need. If you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but you can always bring your awareness to your breath. And whatever it is that you need to hear today to help you take one more step on your journey, one more powerful step to magnify your miracles is exactly what you're going to hear. Knowing that, let's take one more deep breath in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friends. Well, welcome once again to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. If you listened last week, you will know who today's guest is because I did a review last week of her amazing book on the Akashic Records called Your Soul Has a Plan. So I'm excited because I'm introducing you to not only a fabulous best-selling author, but a really good friend of mine and a trusted and wonderful colleague, Lisa Barnett. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Lisa. Lisa Barnett is the author of Your Soul Has a Plan, Awaken to Your Life Purpose Through Your Akashic Records. Lisa has devoted her life as a channel of the Akasha to help people connect to their soul guidance. She is the founder and teacher of Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom, an internationally recognized school where Lisa has taught thousands of students worldwide and has helped to train and certify dozens of Akashic consultants and teachers. Lisa has more than 30 years of experience in the spiritual healing forum and is a master of many healing modalities. Her specialty is empowering individuals to find greater fulfillment, happiness, abundance, health, and ease by helping them align with their soul path and understand their soul's plan, including soul contracts, karmic patterns, and vows, thereby enabling them to transform with greater ease. I can't wait to talk more about that. Lisa is also the international best-selling author of The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records and From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life, which I love. She has developed many amazing programs and books to help people experience lasting transformation, including 10 written auditory courses, dozens of meditations, and frequent webinars to teach people around the world how to access their Akashic record. The goal of all these programs and books is to share the tools and prayers from the Akashic Records to help our clients and students at a soul level to create the life that their hearts and souls desire. Please help me welcome Lisa. Yay! I'm so glad you're here, Lisa.
I am so happy to be here with you.
Ever since I met you, I was like, oh, we got to get Lisa on. We got to get Lisa on because your work is so, so amazing. And I'm so excited to talk about, this is your third book. But before we get into all the juicy stuff about the Akashic Records and what you're up to, I always ask my guests the very first time they're on this question, which is, Lisa, what is your definition of a miracle?
Ooh. Oh, my definition of a miracle is when we are fully aligned with our soul, our soul's plan, who we truly came to be in this world, in this life. When we can really line up to that energy, divine source energy, miracles flow to us and through us with ease and grace. And so I would say a miracle is when we're truly in alignment and the universe can give us the gifts that it's here to give us.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that. So I know you have these beautiful books that you've written, and we're going to be talking a lot about your latest one. But for people who don't know you, they might not know your story, and they might not even know what the Akashic Records are. How did you first start connecting with what you call the Akashic Masters? And tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get from where you were to where you are now?
Well, my journey is absolutely a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
And I think that many of us could say this, but when I look back at being a 3-year-old who actually was aware that I was trapped in a body thinking, oh no, what am I doing here? To a teenager who started to study esoteric and spiritual information, to a 30-year-old who said, oh my gosh, I know I'm supposed to be a healer, so I guess it's time to kind of get on it. And I started to study with about really energy healing, because my realization when I was a teenager was that I had come to be a healer. And so that was really the first thing I started to study, is intuitive guidance, psychic, to be really a psychic, clairvoyant, to heal people, to use energy modalities to heal. And in that process, which is not overnight, but was years and years of, working in energy healing, being a psychic, being an intuitive, doing all of the work that I did, what came from that was a more expanded kind of information. And I would actually start to go from getting lots of great kind of information and healing for my clients to getting this expanded wisdom of past lives and soul plans and future and purpose and all of this. It really felt like that to me. I was like, wow. I remember the first time that came in, that was literally like, I was kind of floored, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. I wonder what that is. And so it was kind of really a random,
Wow.
in a sense, random connection, although, in hindsight, not at all. It was part of my soul's plan to bring the Akashic Records back to humanity. So it's really been a lifelong journey.
Wow. It's amazing. I love that arc that you just took us through, and like all these different things. But when you had that experience of like, wow, back at like being able to see the fullness of time. And I have to say, I mean, I love your books. I think your books are amazing, but I love the title of this one because I think it's what everybody wants to, I mean, you and I, we do somewhat similar work in that we're working with people and healing and energy and all that, but people are like, what's the plan? So this book, Your Soul Has a Plan. I love that title, first of all. Yeah, there it is. Your soul has a plan. Awaken to your purpose.
Have a plan.
Yeah. So you've written these other beautiful books. What was the inspiration for this one?
Well, it's kind of interesting because when I look back, right, again, when I look at this big picture, which is to me one of the great gifts of accessing the Akashic Records, is not just this sliver or this moment, but your soul's plan for this life and for a lot of other lives. So it does include past lives here, other dimensions and realms, because there really is no time and space, right? So this book, the Akashic Record Keepers say to me every couple of years, they say, time to write another book. And I say, okay, what's this one about? And so the interesting thing was the first book I wrote, The Infinite Wisdom, is actually number 3 in the series. So I wrote them kind of backwards. In hindsight, which, yeah, right. So From Questioning to Knowing has 73 healing prayers that I channeled.
Yeah.
And that would be number 2. And then literally you're like, this is number 1. This is the place to start if people are going to read your books, because this is helping people understand what's going on. Yeah. Why do we have challenges? What were we thinking when we came to Earth? What plan? And there actually is one. And so the kind of funny thing the record keepers say is that when they had me write the first book, very few people had even heard about the Akashic Records.
Right.
Right. So it was, in 2000, when I would do Akashic record readings or talk about the Akashic record, people would just kind of glaze over. They were like, Akash, what are you talking about?
Right.
And so the first book was very much about helping to anchor the Akashic energy and wisdom back to earth. Because what the record keepers told me was that these beings of light, had literally pulled the vibration of the Akashic records away from the planet during the Dark Ages. So during, 1000 AD, back in the Dark Ages, were misusing the information. And so they were like, no, you can't have this information. You're using it for your own gain. You're misusing this wisdom. So when they came to me and asked me, they said, it's time to anchor the Akashic records back to the world, because it is our birthright. Everyone on the planet's birthright to have access to their soul's wisdom and guidance and soul plan. And so over the last 10 years, we have been slowly and steadily anchoring the energy of the Akashic records back to the planet. And now it seems like it's kind of common knowledge. And that is literally because people like myself and some of the other teachers that have taught this work out in the world over the last 10, 12 years, it really hasn't been long for most people. We've been anchoring that energy.
Well, this is fascinating because I first heard about the Akashic Records, I think through the Edgar Cayce Foundation. I think he was the first person back when I was a teenager going through my own metaphysical journey. I think that's the first time I heard of it, but I never knew. So let's talk about it. What is the Akashic field so that people understood? Because I always thought that well, there it is, but I never knew that you could access it. And I never knew that there were record keepers. So tell us what the Akashic field is so people know what we're talking about. And let's talk a little bit more about the record keepers too.
Absolutely. So the Akashic record is the recording of your soul's journey through all time space continuum. So everything that you have ever been or done here on Earth, in other realms, other dimensions, other planets, if you believe that you're a star seed, you are, right? Because we have done it all. And each person has their own Akashic record. They have their own library and their own record keepers. So these beautiful beings of light who are literally in service to only you, keeping your library, helping you to understand who you've been and what you've done and why you came back now. All of that information is stored in what we call the Akashic record, or this energy field of the Akasha. And it is part of source energy. And it is also part of the quantum field. So when we realize that the quantum field is really no time space, and in that place we can move around energetically, that means that I can literally go into someone's Akashic record during a client reading, see past lives that have trauma that is blocking them from creating or moving forward in some way. And because there is no time and space, I can heal those past lives, reclaim those gifts that are helpful for them to bring into this life, and really fold time and space so that you can now really embody those gifts in this time, in this body, here and now. So you have a library, you have librarians, who I often refer to as the record keepers, and you have more wisdom than I think most of us can ever imagine. Enough lives, enough wisdom to fill up your own library.
That is amazing. I love that. And, I'm a huge library fan in general because I love books so much. So the idea of the Akashic library, I'm like, ooh, the librarians, that seems like a really cool thing. So then this is just my curiosity. Do people have personal record keepers? Are they more like the archangels, like they're in charge of like a lot of people? Like, how does it work in
Mm.
terms of, because I'm also wondering about that. And then when people have like past life readings, is it similar or what's it like?
Right. Okay. Great questions. So each person not only has their own library, they have their own personal record keepers.
Oh,
So,
that's so cool.
right. So you have, just like we have our own angel team, angelic teams,
Right.
the record keepers are a different energy vibration. So they are not angels. They have never been human. They are not anything like ascended
Ascended
masters. They're
masters. Yeah.
nothing else. You
They're
know,
their own,
they literally, right?
the
They're
cosmic
pure
librarians.
source.
God created a whole race of beings just to maintain the library. I love it. I love it.
I know, and so true. So if you imagine, this is the way the record keepers described it to me. When a soul, say, individuates from source, we go on a journey. We have infinite possibilities. And some souls say, I think maybe I'll study up a little. Look at, here's this huge library. I can see what's going on in different worlds, different
Right.
dimensions. Oh, maybe I love that. I think maybe I'll study and be a librarian. I'll become of service to these souls and support them. And so some souls choose to become Akashic record keepers. And this is what they said to me many years ago when they asked me to start a school. And I said, why me? Why would you? I'm a mom in the suburbs. What the heck? Who am I? And they said, because you were one of us, meaning you
Oh.
have been a record keeper before you went on your human journey. And
Oh.
so, wow, when they said that, I was pretty, of course, wowed. And I thought, well, I can't say no to that, can I? So,
That's amazing. That's amazing. So does that mean then that for you, that was part of your soul plan? Like, does everybody have a soul plan? Talk a little bit about that whole like purpose soul plan. Like, what is that? What is that?
yes. So, when we individuate from source, we go on this infinite journey. We really continue on forever.
Right?
But each time you decide, each time you choose to embody here in a place like Earth, you make a plan, because it's not as easy as we might think to
Right.
get here.
Right.
Right? Even 7 billion people sounds like a lot, but it's still pretty finite considering how many souls there are. And we love this realm because we have a different experience here than any other realm. We actually have created this realm to have these experiences and to learn and to grow. So when we decide to come back, we say, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be with? Who do I want to support? What do I want to learn? What gifts and talents do I want to share with the world? And so we write a whole plan and we say, I want to say, come into this family because this is part of my soul family, or maybe they're not at all. Maybe we say, I'm going to pick this family because there's some serious challenges that I can learn from and help them with.
Mm-hmm.
So we may pick a family that's kind and supportive and loving, and we may pick a family that is abusive or has different challenges, whether it's addictions or narcissism. So we literally choose this to learn and grow and to support other people.
Yeah.
And because, of course, we're unique, it can be very different for each person. And so, we can see this in our Akashic records. And what I notice is that so many people come to me for Akashic readings and healing sessions, because, of course, remember, I'm a healer at heart.
Right.
And they come and they're like, this must be a mistake. This is terrible. This is traumatic. I had terrible parents. I've I'm alone, I'm broke, I can't, find a loving relationship. Kind of what's wrong with my plan? Right?
Like, I did not plan this.
I
People
just,
are like, this is not the
this
plan.
is not possible, right? Right. But the interesting thing that I notice often with people like that who have a lot of trauma in their lives is that they're actually very ancient and wise souls. And they've said, you know what? I want to finish all the old karmic patterns that I've had. Anything that's left undone, let's complete it. And then I can take kind of that information, that wisdom that I've gleaned from these challenges, and help and support other people, teach other people, share the wisdom, whatever that is. In some way, sometimes we become spiritual teachers, and sometimes we help one other person, and we change one person's life, and that's perfect. But we're out there really as these beautiful divine beings of light, learning and growing and sharing and teaching and healing and loving, right? And creating. We're creator beings. So we come to create.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. So here's a good question that I've been thinking about. And maybe you can tell me or not. I don't know. But so people talk about karma, right? And so here's the plan. Does the plan, like when you're in, before you come into this lifetime, and I get it, your soul is like, okay, from that infinite perspective, this sounds like a good idea. Let me go down, because we totally forget what it's going to be like once we're in the body. We're like, this sounds like a great idea. Oh yeah, alcoholic parents, I'm up for it. But there's the plan, but then there's also our karma. Is it kind of the same, or like if you become aware of your plan, your soul's plan, does that help you with those karmic patterns? Is the karma part of the plan? Like, how does it work? Right. I don't know, because those are kind of different right. words and different in my mind. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So we write karmic patterns into the plan. It's just one aspect of the plan.
Okay.
So to me, the way the record keepers explain karma, it's really about soul growth. It's not about punishment.
Right.
Okay. So often in so many different religions and the ways that people have come to look at karma, we think about it, oh, you're going to get your karma, like you're going to get your punishment.
Right.
And it really isn't the way it is, even though it may kind of appear that way. But what it is that, say in a past life, let's try and use something that's not too traumatic. You had a business, say you had a hat shop with another person. Say you and your business partner, you had a cute little hat shop. Maybe it was a hat wagon, and it was 400 years ago. And you took the wagon around and you sold your hats. And one day you decided you were done with the life on the road. You met a nice person. You said, I'm going to settle down, or I'm going to go back to that village that we were at, 3 months ago. And you take the money and you run. Okay. So you're bailing on your partner. You're stealing all the money. You're leaving them the hats, which is, at least that's good. Or you might take the whole kit and caboodle and run, right? Maybe you take the wagon, the hats, and the money, and off you go, leaving this person stranded with nothing. And then in this lifetime, something happens where your business partner runs off with your proprietary wisdom, with your teaching, with your information, and your money, right? We hear about it even in spiritual businesses.
Sure.
It could be a regular business. It could be a spiritual business. Somebody kind of steals from you, and you think, why would that ever happen? That's a karmic pattern, right? We do something, being a human. Maybe we're like, I miss that person I had, in that town 30 miles away, and I'm going back, and this person is terrible, and they're stealing money anyway, and I'm stealing it all and running.
Right.
We make up stories in our mind. We make up reasons to, make it okay to us or whatever it is. And then we go, oh, that really wasn't okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to have this experience in another way. It may actually be with the same soul. You may come together to learn and grow, to do the forgiveness work, to be compassion, to let this go, right? To forgive that person from, say, stealing your business from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally about learning and understanding and seeing the bigger picture and being compassionate and being really about the forgiveness. And so these are what we call karma. It's not punishment, it's learning. So when we look at it that way, it's a little different. And what I have found is that my clients, even people who have been through the abusive families, they know, there are many, many hundreds of lifetimes we've had where we've been the abuser, where we have not been kind people, where we have done terrible things. We do it all. That's why we come to this earth plane. And so when we can forgive ourselves, then we can truly start to forgive other people for what is happening, with them in this life. And so we write that in because we want to learn, we want to be forgiveness, we want to be compassion and love, and then we want to share that wisdom with other people.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I really love about you, Lisa, is, in our community of kind of the new age spiritual community, which is a wide community, there's a lot of different energies in here. There's often not an embrace of prayer, and you have beautiful prayers. And what I love is your practice and belief and faith in the healing power of prayer. So let's say that someone is, listening right now and they're like, oh, I can really relate to that. How have you seen somebody being able to pray actually affect a healing that then, back in time, and like, how can people, because I know your book has prayers and exercises in it. All your books have, beautiful prayers and everything in them. How can they do that? Or what's your experience of prayer and healing?
Mm-hmm. So a couple of different things. I spent 10 years as a prayer practitioner with the religious science, as a religious science certified prayer practitioner.
Yes.
And so I literally would be at church every week praying with the congregation. Yeah. And so it was interesting because many, many years later, the record keeper said, we want you to write a prayer book. And now I'd already written the Akashic Record book, and I was like, really? And they laughed at me because, of course, I have a very short memory, as most humans do. And they said, did you forget, that you spent 10 years as a prayer practitioner? And I literally had to laugh and was like, oh my gosh, because my children were very little. It was really the time in my life where I was very much is being a mother, and I had my little healing center, but it was very much about the prayer and the children and the family. And so it's so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, I did forget. They said, we would like you to channel these healing prayers with the Akashic energy, because that energy is just pure vibration of source, of pure unconditional love. And of course, I said, okay. And what I notice, and what people notice often, is that there is that vibration of love. And so the record keepers suggested that that people do the prayer 3 times, read the prayer, because they're short prayers, 3 times. And then you might do it 2 or 3 times during a day. And you might do it for a day or 2, or for a week or 2. Or I've had some people work on the forgiveness prayer for 6 or 8 months, and then they experience a miracle. Because that forgiveness ripples out into their world, and everyone really around them, maybe the person they're forgiving, but not just that, other people. It ripples into a space of love and forgiveness in so many ways. My students have said, my, mother-in-law who hasn't spoken to me in a year called me up and started a conversation. Might be very simple. My brother forgave me after not talking to me for, 6 months. Just this ripple of energy, because we're really going deeply into our heart, holding the energy of the Akasha, really of your soul.
Yeah.
And doing this very powerful, deep work with ease, because it's calling in your record keepers. You don't even need to know how to read your records. You can learn, but you don't need to. You can use those prayers and call in the vibration of your record keepers and your soul. And so with this new book, what I also did was to add exercises for reflection and some of the kind of column of light meditations and some of the healing prayers that go with the chapter. So even in this newest book, there are usually, 1, 2, 3 prayers in all of the chapters, along with things that you can journal about, reflections you can make about how this is true in your life and how you can really shift that for yourself with these prayers, with this wisdom. And so the other thing the record keepers like to remind us is, when we become aware, say, of a pattern, of a way of being that maybe we weren't even aware of these karmic patterns, or of this energy of judgment, or whatever it might be, that awareness is a healing for you. Right?
Yep.
That awakening literally helps us to let that stuck energy release.
Yeah.
And then adding that with the prayers that are in the book really expedite that healing and help to really deepen that and anchor in new energy that is also coming through the prayers.
Yeah. So powerful. I've seen exactly what you're talking about with myself and with my own clients. It's absolutely the truth. When you touch it, I call it the field of unconditional love, but that quantum source field, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, absolutely. Yay. Well, I have written down here that I wanted to make sure that we mention that when people go to the link that you gave me, if they want to purchase this beautiful book, that there's some gifts that they're going to get with that book. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Because, it's just hard for me to just do one simple thing, like, let's just launch that book. But really what I want to give you is so much more information. And so there is a gift of my Rainbow Shield protective guided meditation. There is an abundance prayer book that you can use to really increase the abundance of all kinds in your life.
I love it.
There is a 90-minute masterclass where I teach you to use a lot of these different tools that the record keepers have given me, as well as a free 30-day membership for Positive Prime, which is a phenomenal program. I have a video on there to help you align to your soul's plan, to bring greater positivity in your life. It's really about helping us shift our energy and our vibration to create the new earth, to live in a higher vibrational world. So there are 4 beautiful free gifts when you purchase the brand new book, Your Soul Has a Plan.
And I am going to put that special link in the show notes so people can find it when they go to francisfaden.com/podcast. You'll find this episode and you will see the link there to buy the book. Yay! That makes me so happy. So Lisa, I know people can work with you directly. That's one thing you do. They can buy your books if they want to kind of work on their own. But what about, you said something about if you want to learn how to kind of tap in, tell us about that as well, because I know you have a fabulous school. and course.
Absolutely. So I have been blessed to teach thousands of people around the world how to access their own Akashic record. And I do online workshops. As a matter of fact, I have one starting February 27th.
Okay.
It is 8 sessions over 4 weeks. And I teach you exactly how, using the 5-step wisdom prayer system that the Akashic record keepers gave me many, many years ago. I guide you through the process. We do exercises. We do a little bit of group healing. I love to get together and do group healing for my students. And it is a very deep, profound, I think it's about 16-hour online workshop.
Wow.
And you will learn how to access your own Akashic records, start to talk to your own personal record keepers, and ask questions about your soul's plan so you can learn so much more about who you truly are as an infinite and wise soul who has traveled through this earth world, through other galaxies and dimensions for just an infinite amount of time. So when we can really understand that we are these ancient, wise, powerful souls, it allows us to start to transform our lives with so much ease and grace. And it's time to create the new earth. So that's why we're all here at this time in history.
Okay, so that course is called Understand Your Soul Plan. Is that right?
It is really learn to access your Akashic records.
Oh, learn to access your Akashic records. Okay. And where can they find that?
I gave you the link, so hopefully you will get to send that out.
AkashicKnowing.com, right? AkashicKnowing.com, that's your sign?
Akashic Knowing. Oh, it is access. Oh, did I give you, oh.
Well, we'll find it. But just if you...
I will give you, no, oh, that's interesting. Understand Your Soul Plan is actually the course. They just renamed.
Oh, it is. Okay, so I did get it. Okay, got it. Awesome.
It is the correct. Yeah.
But that's your home, right? Your website is akashicknowing.com. If people want to find out about having an appointment with you or any of the other things, that's where they can find out about you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want us to know, Lisa? Anything else? Kind of like what Julie Reeser calls a little heart flare. Like any last thing from the record keepers that you want us to know?
Absolutely. You know, the record keepers are really coming through, and they just want to send everyone just so much love, and to reassure us that no matter what the world has been looking like, I know last year was challenging for so many. The last few years has been challenging for most of us. But they say we really are on a perfect trajectory to create a new earth, to raise the vibration of the planet. More and more and more people really are waking up and becoming more spiritual and starting on their own path.
Yeah.
And everything, it's all good. We really are going to create a better world for everyone.
Beautiful. Oh, what a great way to end. Thank you so much, beautiful Lisa Barnett. I'm so grateful that you were able to be here with us today.
Thank you. It has been a joy.
All right, my miraculous friend. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I highly recommend that you check out all of Lisa's offerings. She's got so many beautiful things to share. And like I said, her prayers are truly miraculous. They really do have amazing healing power in them. So go to akashickknowing.com, check it out. And I will put everything in the show notes for you. And I'll put the link where you can also get, if you buy the book, you'll get those 4 very powerful gifts as well. If you did enjoy this episode, I would so appreciate it if you could share it with anyone you know who might be interested and might benefit from this positive information. And if you can leave a review, that really helps us out so much. And remember, my friend, as always, the key to magnifying your miracles is to remember that your miracle is already here. God bless you. Bye-bye.